everyone. Welcome to Liza's Painting Parties. I'm Liza and I'm so glad that you're here to join me for our painting party today. This is our paint party number 101. So thank you so much for the fantastic support and everything over the last 2 years that I've been holding these free virtual painting sessions. We'll get started just a little bit after 6, so in about 10 minutes or so, depending timing that you're joining. You might be from different time zones, so about 10 minutes or so we'll get started in the actual paint process. But prior to that, I'll go through my supplies and I'll talk a little bit about our approach to how we're going to approach recreating this photo into our painting. And to start, I just want to welcome anyone who is joining me for the first time. So welcome very much to our painting extravaganza. And just give you a little bit of a rundown of how I go about holding these sessions. So first and foremost, I completely encourage your creativity. I will walk through everything that I'm doing step by step. So if you're a beginner, you can follow along. I invite you to try to let go of your control tendencies and just have fun with the process and enjoy it and have fun creating. And if you want to change up anything in this, you're more than welcome to do so. Anyone who's already a bit experienced or very experienced, again, feel free to do it as you wish, and feel free, anyone can jump into the chat and just make any comments. If you have a tip or suggestion or a question, feel free to pop it in there. I'll keep an eye on it as we go on. However, sometimes I will get involved in painting. So if I don't answer right away, please forgive me. And if someone else has the answer, please feel free to help each other out. The way I approach this is kind of like a book club vibe. So we all have the same book or reference that we are using, but we can all interpret it in whatever way we want, and every way is the right way. So don't feel weird about wanting to do something totally different. Some people enjoy using different types of mediums, so feel free to do that as well. I'm going to be using acrylics, and I'll go through the brands that I'm using right now. I picked the brands primarily for cost and just what I had available to me, so I didn't specifically pick them because I love them so much, so that's not it. So I kind of work with what I have, but I'll let you know what they are in case you'd like to use those in the future. Is fine. Cool. So our photo, we're doing a paint from photo event today. I like doing a lot of the paint from photo events. The photographer that I work with, his name is Michael Lyons. He's based in Burlington, Ontario. I've known him for a very long time, and he captures really beautiful images. He was an artist, like a painter prior, so he has a really good eye for things. So this week we're going to be doing this one here. Let's get rid of that for momentarily so you can see it a little bit better. So we're going to do this one. It's called Wings. So it's a very close up of a butterfly. It has a blurred effect in the background, and the one leaf that the butterfly has landed on is a bit clearer. So we'll be playing a little bit with this kind of blurriness in the background, the details on the butterfly, and that close-up leaf. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. What I would suggest, I will have the photo available so you'll be able to see it as we're painting. However, with the technology that I have, it's just going to be sitting beside it. So if you want to get a screenshot of it, you can feel free to grab it as I'm holding it now. Or you can take a look at the post from earlier today that I put a picture of this on it. So you can grab that and just have it available for yourself as reference in case I'm going either too quickly or too slowly for your speed, and you just have it there for you. Okay? I'm going to move that now. If you are jumping in and you're not able to paint with me right in this moment, that's totally fine. This video, as well as all my other recordings, are on and available on the Facebook site under the videos tab. And I also cross-post this on my YouTube channel, Liza's Painting Parties. So feel free to watch it whenever it's more convenient for you. And I don't take them down. So if you enjoy this vibe and you like what we're doing, take a look at the other videos and paint along. My request to you is that if you paint along with me, I would love to see your paintings. So please snap a picture of it and share with our community. It's always so great to see how everyone has interpreted and everyone has different styles. So please share that because that's very fun. Also, you'll notice there's a link too. So if you'd like to leave me a tip, you can go ahead and do that under the Buy Me a Coffee link or under the PayPal link. It's always appreciated. It's not, you don't need to at all. And if you like these sessions and want to have your own private session, my website's also there as well. So you can click the link and you can take a look to see, to book a virtual paint party with me. Or if you're in the Greater Toronto area, we can chat about doing a in-person paint party as well. So that is my little spiel for all of that information. The other thing I would like to mention is in honor of my 100th paint party that I had last week, and we just hit over 8,000 followers on Facebook, which is huge and incredible. So thank you all so much. I have a giveaway that we're doing, and it's going on until, you can enter still until the end of day on Friday. That's the last day to enter. So you'll see a pinned post on my Facebook page that speaks to it, and the giveaway is one free virtual paint party for you and up to 10 friends. And it'd be super fun. So all you have to do, there's a few like things you can do to get ballots. It's like subscribing to my Instagram channel, to my Facebook page, sharing the post, all of those normal social exposure type of tasks. So you can take a look at that. And if that's something you want to do, please do that and make sure you do that and share it with people and tell anyone else who may want to be entered into the contest to do that before Friday at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Coolio. Okay. So let me see here. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. There's so many comments. I love it. Okay. Let me go back and make sure we are good. Facebook made everything smaller in terms of like reading everything. Before it was like very large and I could just like see it from a distance, and now I feel like I've either aged like 10 years and my site's gone worse. My site's not already that great. Hi Tammy, first timer, yay! Hi Cindy, hi Linda, first time, yay, that's great. Vanessa, hello. Debbie, Josephine, amazing. Amy, oh my gosh, there's so many first timers. I'm so excited that you're all here. This is fantastic. Debbie, awesome. Tracy, hello. Mary said she can't hear me, and then Teresa said she can hear me fine. So hopefully Mary can hear me now. You know what? It's that's something that I need to figure out, is I need to connect maybe like a headset or something so I can speak clearer. Because my videos can't capture my words, so I can do captions on my video. And someone had reached out to me asking for closed captioning, and it's not capturing my voice close enough. So as a reminder. So thank you for mentioning that, because I need to change that up. And where do you post your versions? You can post them, Betty, on the page. So like after I paint, I take a picture of the painting we did, and then I post it. And often people will post their versions under that. So you can do it that way, or you can send it to me, whatever works for you. No stress about it. Like if it doesn't work, you don't have to, but I obviously love it. So you can just, any post you find, you can like pop it on there and be like, I don't know where to post it. Here you go. And people will take a look and love it anyways. Hi, Mari. Thank you, Josephine. Yeah, it's a fantastic accomplishment. I'm so proud and excited that this is growing to this level. It's really great. And hi, Mary. Yay. You're from Quebec. Yay, and a fellow Canadian. That's amazing. That's okay, Bonnie. So Bonnie just says it's the first time here and she doesn't know what to do. That's totally fine. I'm going to run through the supplies that I'm going to be using, and I'll go through it step by step. So follow along as best as you can. Don't stress and just have fun. Oh, thank you for the stars, Donna. It's very sweet of you. And hi, Lisa. Another first timer, D. Hi, Jen. And hi, Sandra. Awesome. And Janet, too. Oh, my goodness. Wild Bill. Hello. Lisa DeRuth. Awesome. Thank you, Teresa, for letting me know the sound is fine. I appreciate that. Oh, we have someone from Texas. Yay. Hi, Cindy. That's okay. We're going to get started just momentarily. I'm just, there are more viewers today than there have been in previous sessions, so I just want to make sure I can say hi to everyone. Awesome. Oh, from Baltimore. Awesome. Okay, great. Oh, first timer from the UK. Very excited. 2 mobile phones here. One phone is louder than the other, so could do with models of phones as well if you're watching from mobile. Thank you for that tip, Lynn. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Katie, fantastic. Third timer. Yay, I'm so glad you're joining again. That's fantastic. And Jill's from Maine. Great. Great. And I'm going to stop looking at the comments for a moment just so, again, I kind of just want to, I wish we were all together in a group and it'd be so much nicer to like get your presence in the moment, but c'est la vie. My water thing is broken. Okay, make sure you have a drink. My sessions usually last about 2 hours, so just have a drink with you. I usually have a water with a lid because anyone who's painted any type of paint party before, you probably want a lid on any drink you have because sometimes brushes end up in those drinks. So let's start with going through what supplies that I'll be using and what you'll need, so you can grab anything if you are missing anything particularly. So I have a canvas. So my canvas, you can use any canvas you like. Personally, I prefer an actual stretched canvas. This is a canvas board, which is essentially like a really thick piece of like cardboard essentially with like stretched canvas on top. I use these for convenience, not preference. It's just easier to store my art instead of having thicker stretched canvases. But I do prefer stretched canvas because I feel like the paint just like goes on it a lot nicer. But you can use whatever you like. This size is an 11 by 14. And I'm going to be doing this particular image in the landscape view, landscape side, sideways, horizontal. Okay, from paints, I use acrylic paints. I have two types of paints that I've been using more frequently. One is these, which are crafters paints. This is the ones I've got from the Dollarama. So they are like all-purpose craft paints. They end up drying very quickly on my palette, but they tend to be a little thicker. So I do like them still, and they dry with a matte finish. So I use these. And then I also have another brand called Loft that I purchased when I was doing an in-person paint party because I needed more quantity. And these paints dry with a shine, and I use less of this paint basically, and this was a little bit pricier. However, it was still very economical. I got these from Michael's, so like an art store here. I think it's in the States as well. I don't know if it's overseas. And they're under $10 Canadian. So for like Americans, that's like what, $5 or something? Because like way less than probably for anyone in UK, you probably pay like $2 for it or something. I'm not sure. I don't know. Clearly, money conversion is not my thing. I just know Canadian money seems to be kind of funny like that. Anyways, but it's under $10 Canadian, so it's still a pretty good price. And these are like $1. So in terms of the colors, as long as you have your primary colors, so red, yellow, and blue, black, and white, we can paint anything with them. If you, of course, have other colors that are pre-mixed, fantastic. If you don't, I will talk through and just remind you, okay, how do we make green? Let's mix these colors together to get a green, and I'll speak from that perspective. In terms of the specific colors I use, it's kind of funny because these ones from Loft, they're literally just named blue or red. There's no like fanciness about it. It's like, that's what it is. So that's what these ones are called, just by their name. And then the Crafters acrylic vary, and the ones that I'm going to be using today specifically, but again, mix up, and it's not because like that's like the best one. But the ones that I have available here, the yellow is like a daffodil yellow, it's called. Bright red and peacock blue are the ones for the Crafters acrylic. And then of course white and black. And I might be dipping into my pre-mixed green, and it's like a hunter green, but often I'll just mix my colors together. But if I do it, I'll use that. So just for any people who are like to be very specific on what I'm using, that's for you. Everyone else, don't stress. As long as you have the colors, we're good to go. I also suggest having a variety of brushes. At least have 3 different sizes: a large, a medium, and a fine. That's how I say it. I say it that way because it depends on the canvas size you're using. The ones that I'm using is a size 10, and it's like a flat, kind of roundy brush. A size 2, which is my medium size. And this one is like a size 4, but it ends up being very, very thin and fine point, and it has like a nice little like, almost like a pen-like triangular feature, which I like for precision. So those are like the 3, but if you have a variety of sizes that you're comfortable with, I don't say this is like the best way, this is just my preferred ones. You can use what you like. And then I have 2 water containers. Acrylic is water-based. That's why I have water available. I don't use water too much, and I'm very particular about it because I don't want it to affect the way my painting is. And again, I'll also speak to when I'm putting my paintbrush in the water or using it. I don't use it very often. What I tend to do when I'm painting is I use paper towel, and so I'll like take the excess paint off of my brush with the paper towel instead of like using water all the time. And again, I'll speak to that as I do it so you can get how I use it. And if it works for you, fine. If it doesn't, again, no stress. And then of course, just like a palette so you can pop your paint on. I tend to do a lot of my mixing on the actual canvas as well. This might be a little bit different, but we'll go from there. All right, so let me see what else we got. Oh, Yvette says she's having a sound issue as well. What is up with that? Oh, thank you for the stars, Katie. Okay. Oh, another Texas. I love it. South Dakota, amazing. Oh, and Trace says, I want to mention for us starving artists that the canvas board are more accessible and less expensive. I love craft acrylics for the same reason, and texture not expensive, like the 79 cents for, yeah, that's true. It is also economical to do that way. That's 100% true. Again, our Dollarama here, you can get like canvases for like very reasonable prices. So if you haven't checked out your Dollarama or dollar store, like definitely check them out. Because like when you go to Michael's, canvases can be so pricey, or other art stores. Perfect. Okay, so Mary has good sound now. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Now, before we jump into actually painting, let's just talk about how we're going to approach recreating this photo in our canvas. Okay. So whenever I paint, I always start with whatever is furthest in the background, and then I build on top of that. So I would never just be like, let's paint the butterfly. We have to start with the background first. In this particular image, what I want to do is I want to start playing particularly with this really light area in the background. And then I want to start putting in some of the green that's in the background. This light area right here is kind of like a white, and it has like a little bit of like purplish that kind of comes through. Personally, I might also add some blue, maybe make it almost like a light blue, almost like representative of like a sky or something. But again, it's going to be blurry, and it's kind of just like a background to like make our butterfly pop. You can approach it however you want. If you would like to even change it up and make it like super colorful, you can do that. The only thing I would say is if you are changing it up, just be mindful of how you want your butterfly to stand out. If you end up putting a lot of yellow, for example, and the butterfly is going to be yellow, it's not going to stand out the same way. So just think about the contrast in that if you're changing it up, okay? So we're going to start with placing that. And then the other part that we're going to think of is we're going to think about where it's going to land. Can we see that, okay? Okay, it's not the best, but right now it's fine. We're going to think about how we're going to be reproducing and how large things are going to be. And this is helpful to me. I know some people have different ways of processing. People who are more like mathematical or specific, I think might not like my approach as much. I'm very like visual, and I'm good at like looking at the size of a unit and knowing it's going to fit in a space without having to measure it. Like I'm good at, I guess, spatial awareness. Apparently not words. So I try to visualize it on here before we even get to that point. If it's helpful, you can just sketch it out just to give you like more frame of reference if you want to prior to even starting. But when I look at this, I think, okay, the background, so there's going to be like quite a bit of this light area kind of coming from like this area here. I'm not actually drawing on my canvas. I'm just doing it so my brain understands it. So it's going to be this whole part here is going to be pretty light. We're going to have a bit of a green happening in this side here and a little bit of green at the bottom there. And then that big leaf is going to come. And we're not going to do that yet, but just going to think about it. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at. So I want that like white blobbish spot to live in this area. So that's how we will do it. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. And then I'm going to move my camera. Oh, awesome. You work at Hobby Lobby. That's great. You can let us know any tips of things to purchase and what works. We don't have Hobby Lobby in Canada, at least as far as I know. Okay, let me move this now. I know you like to see me, but move this instead. And this is not going to be great. We don't need this anymore right now. Okay. All right, so there we go. So we have our image on the side. There's a little bit of a shine happening. I think it's actually, one second. That's a little better. It looks like there's still a bit of a glow. Well, like I said, it might be better if you were able to get a screenshot of that picture. If not, we'll just talk through it and go from there. Okay. So I'm going to start. I'm actually going to use the Artist Loft paint, the white, to start. I do like this paint because it does dry with like a shine. So I'm going to add maybe a little bit more. It's a little tricky. With the Artist Loft paint, you don't need to use as much because it spreads a lot better and has better coverage. So when with the Crafters acrylic, I have to always use way more than I think I'm going to. Okay, and then I want to also put, and I'll show you what's on my palette in a moment. I'm just going to put things on here first and then go from there. Okay. So I have a big dollop of white, a little bit of blue, a little bit of red. The blue and the red were for my Crafters acrylic, and the white was for my Artist Loft. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to just start off by getting paint on the canvas, and then we'll start mixing in some color and having some fun with it. And this is all very abstract, very blurry, just to get like this white blurb. My paintbrush is dry. My canvas is dry. I'm going to just push a lot of paint right onto my brush, and I'm going to just start to just get paint on the canvas. So I'm just, and this is the part which is always funny to me because I feel like anyone watching is like, it's white paint on a white canvas. Like, what are you doing? All I'm doing is I'm getting quite a bit, but it's still very flat. You can't really see any like ridges, like it's still pretty flat, but it's getting good coverage. And then I'm just going to kind of go like an X's. Really, the brush stroke doesn't really matter. I like going back and forth in an X kind of pattern. I feel like I'm able to spread it a lot easier this way. Okay, so I want to go more than I think I'm going to need. So right now I have paint all in this area here, white paint, okay? And I want to add a little bit of slight color interest just to make it a little interesting and fun. So I'm going to get a little bit of blue on there, and everything's still wet. And I'm just going to put like little dabs of the blue. And I just put like little bits into the white paint. And this is the part I work a little bit quickly just because I need to get everything blended before my paint dries. So I just used the paper towel to get rid of the blue that was on my brush. And I'm going to go back into my white paint and start like just under the blue and then bring it into that blue. And I'm going to do that for each of the spots. So I don't want it to dry with these weird heavy lines. I'm going to go get more white. And the white's going to be our guide to like blend it out, make it a little softer. I just want like a hint. It's not just white. I want it to have a little bit of color. And I just put them on kind of the sides of it. And I'm using the white, like I said, to just blend and soften it. Okay. And also the paint, even though it's the better paint, it still dries fairly quickly. So you might need to put in a little bit more white paint depending how fast that paint has dried, because I want to add a little droplet of red in here too. So like now I put a little bit of red and do the same thing as the blue, only I think I'm gonna, it looks like there's almost like a little swoop that kind of goes in like that. So I'm just going to do that. And then maybe I'll put in a little bit in this area here. And again, before I do anything more, I'm going to get rid of all of that red just by using the paper towel. And then go back into my white. And now we're going to go over those spots just to make it like a subtle indicator. And so as I did this, I don't want it to get crazy red, because if I keep going on top and on top and on top, it will just become all pink, and I don't want that. So once it gets to that point where every time I sweep my brush, I'm getting just that color and it's going in places that is too much, I need to clean it off with my paper towel. And then I'll go back and get white, and then we're going to add the white back to the edges of that kind of color shape, and then it will blend nicely and it won't take over the whole vibe of the painting. Okay. It's very light. It's pretty hard to see exactly. Let me see. Can you see the color? No. It's very light. Maybe I need to bring back that light. Trust me, there's color. There's a little bit of red and a little bit of blue hint. And that's kind of annoying because then we can't see the image. So, okay, I think I'm going to add a little bit more blue on this side because I feel like it's not coming through enough. So I'm going to do the same thing. I just popped in blue, and then I'm going to use white to just soften it up a little bit. There we go. Okay, cool. I think I'm almost done with that. It does have a bit of a gray tinge to it. If you wanted to add a little bit of gray, you could do that as well. I don't know if I'm going to go that route. I don't know. Maybe. If we want to add a little bit of gray, then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to use black. And when we use black, we just have to be very, very cautious, because black is super powerful and it will take over the color, right? So we don't want black to make this whole thing super black. So if you want to put some black in to make it a little gray, I want to put it in a little bit in these areas. Again, I'm going to go back and like remove that paint after I dab it in, grab more white paint, and then use the white paint to blend it in. See, there's still too much gray happening there, so I'm just going to clean off my brush. Well, I'm going to get more white paint after I clean off my brush. And the butterfly's going to pretty much live there, so I'm not going to worry too much there. Okay, I just want it to be a little bit more blended and softer. Yes, I think that looks very, very, very soft. Hi, Lynn. I'm glad you're joining. It's so nice to see so many new people, but it's also so great to see people who I recognize from the other parties. It's very exciting. I love it. Okay, so I think I'm going to start playing with this blurred area at the bottom next, because I feel like that's the one that's most furthest in the background. I'm also noticing too, like around the butterfly, there's almost like a slight glow, like it's a white glow. So we'll keep that in mind to make sure we have that like highlight. I think that really makes it stand out, but we won't worry about that just yet. Now in this area, there definitely seems to be a bit more gray happening, like down here, and then there's green happening, and it's very like very subtle. And then it gets a little darker. So you can't really see any of the elements, but you know there's like a leaf happening. I also just wanted to mention that I still haven't put any water on my paintbrush. Like I said, I hardly use the water when I'm in this mode. However, I will, like, you do want to make sure you don't leave your paint on your brush and let it dry, because that will ruin your brush. So I'm still going to work quickly, and the paint, there's still wet paint on here. So just wanted to call that out. Okay, so we're going to start similarly to what we did before, where I'm going to get white paint and just go back and forth in this area. Okay, and kind of start to, kind of almost looks like a V or something. I don't know what a V. It's kind of like a arrow. And I'm going to get the black, a little bit of black, because I want to get it a little bit darker in this area. So I'm just going to put some black here. This kind of V type shape, like that. Again, I'm going to use my paper towel. Do you guys say towel paper or paper towel? I think I say paper towel. I think that's my go-to. I don't know if that's the right way, but we all know what I'm talking about. Okay. And then I'm going to go with white just over it and bring the white into my gray and slightly back out and into it. Okay. Just going to clean that off again. Get more white. I start just under, and then I bring it into my darker color. Don't need to worry about that. I sometimes worry about things that I know I'm going to cover, but I can't help but touch up. And then I just put a bit more white paint in there, just to, and then if you, especially if you're, like, I still do it if I'm using a canvas board, but especially if you're using a canvas, just make sure that you're remembering to paint the sides of your canvas so it just feels more continuous. Okay, so I think I kind of captured that area decently enough, or to my liking, I should say. I tend to say that and then I still keep going on top of it, so I don't know if any of you have that problem too. It's like, oh, I think it's good, and then I touch it for another like 2 minutes. Okay. From here, I want to start to layer in some of the green and get that going. So if we need to mix green, we need blue and we need yellow. And the way I do it is I do it kind of like right on my palette, like very messily, I suppose. I'm still going to start in this area by starting with a bit of a white base. So I'm just putting some white paint just in this area. And I'm almost at the point where I have to retouch up my paint. And you know what? I kind of got rid of a bit of the gray, so I'm just going to put a little bit more of the black in here again. Okay. All right. So I just put my paintbrush into the yellow and the blue. I just mix it a little bit. And the thing about using dollar store paint is that sometimes daffodil yellow or sunshine yellow or whatever the mix is has kind of a different pigment kind of vibe to it. So this paint is kind of coming across very like grayish, which is okay. I'll use it for now and then I might use my premixed one after. So I'll start off with this kind of weird grayish color, but it's okay if you don't have that. Like if it's a bit different, it's fine. We're just going to start to place. It's not really my preferred. I would have preferred it a little bit more intense green. So I'm going to start to place this green color in this area. And where is it? How is it going? So that big leaf starts like up here and it goes like this. So it needs to come more than halfway, or like halfway at least. Okay, so So I'm just going to get green on here. Okay, so now I'm just going to remove some of that green from my brush, go back into my white. And just, this one I want it to be a little bit more solid, though it's still very blurry as to where it starts, so it doesn't really have to be super solid, but okay, so I'm just going to go back and forth like this to get a green feeling happening here. Paint the side of my canvas. Okay, so we have a green area happening. Okay, great. I do want this green to look a little different, so I'm going to dip into this pre-mixed green. This one is actually it's called emerald green. So there we go. The other ones are all just like blue, red, but apparently green is special. So I'm going to just put a little bit of that, and then I'm just going to use it because that one is like a very bright, so I think that will be a little bit nicer. Oh, thank you. Thanks for the stars, Lynn. Thanks so much. So I'm just going to put that in, and I don't know, this paint is kind of interesting. So mixed on it. Okay, so let's just get some of this other value into this area. Okay. And I notice it's almost like a little bit like yellowish kind of poking there. So I'm going to put a little bit of just yellow in this area here. And again, it's just like playing with the color because it's blurred. It's a blurred image. So we're not going to stress about it looking like a leaf because it's not. It's just a blurred color that's going to make our butterfly pop. Okay. And now I do want to get it a little, it is a little darker though. There's a bit of a dark, so I'm going to put some black just to get that darkness there. And I'm just going to try to blend it a little bit into my green without losing that shape. So I'm trying to soften it. And then I'm going to, again, take off some of the excess paint on my brush. And a bit more green. Okay, so soften it a little bit. Okay. And this looks a little bit too, like, too much of a I wouldn't say perfect line, because it's definitely not, but it's too solid. So I'm going to go on top and just soften it a little, and I use the white sometimes to help me with that, because it will like blend it in a little bit. And again, the butterfly is still going to probably cover some of the space there, but okay. And I want it to be a little bit more darkness in this area here. Okay. Let's just play with the color there. Like I said, I just wanted to have a little bit of blend. I want to have a couple different color variations. Still kind of capture that there's like a bit of a darker kind of curve that's happening. And I think it's okay. This is, again, these are those types of things that you can spend so much time going over and playing and playing and playing with it. You can get like lost in it, which if you do, it's totally fine. Because again, you can always come back to the video, or you can rewind it or check it out. So don't feel like you have to like rush to keep up with stuff. Go and enjoy everything as you go. Hi, Heather. Oh, yay, awesome. Hi, Christina. Hi, Heather. Yay, I'm glad you're here, Doreen. Hello. That's fantastic. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so we have that kind of like blurry green vibe that's living there. Totally cool. And then I want to pop in this green that's in the background. Okay, so this is like almost a solid dark green color that's living here. And then it kind of gets a little bit lighter. That same color, a little bit lighter, that color lives around here. And then it has this like kind of like a dark ridge there. So again, we're going to capture this vibe. We can change things up. You can make it totally different if you want to as well. You can totally abandon this and just make it one color in the background. It's totally fine. I'm going to try to see how we can make this happen. Yeah, I'm going to mix, instead of use that pre-mixed green, I want to mix the yellow and the blue I have from the Flow acrylic. Just check it out and see what I can do with that. I'm curious what color will come out of those. Yeah, so it's definitely brighter. Okay, that's cool. We'll start with that and then we'll darken it as we go, I think. Okay, so let's start by getting just some green in this area. This is like super bright, but that's okay. Okay, so this green, just trying to get the sides as well as I go. So that leaf kind of goes from like here. It starts like there. So you don't have to worry about this green any lower than that, I don't think. Okay, but I do want it to be a little bit darker. I'm going to throw in some black into here. And what's interesting is that this green color is like the same as this green color. So I'm going to try to keep that in mind when I paint it so that we can have a similar green living there. Okay. So okay, so how far is the green gonna come out? Well, it looks like it comes out like here. If we look at like mid of the picture, it's almost like, so this is like a quarter. So it's gonna come out to just about here, more or less. That's what I'm seeing. So it's going to come, and I'm gonna just try going a little bit in more than, so I can build out, because I'm definitely gonna make that line look a little messy with this big, huge brush. But that's how I work. So it's going to kind of come up and down, maybe more so. Maybe that can come down a little bit more, and then around, and it'll connect somehow there. Okay, cool. And then we'll touch that up with like a nice thinner brush just to give us a guide when we pop more green in this area. I'll probably move to my medium-sized brush in a moment, just so I can get a bit more detail on that edge when we want to do that. For now, that's fine. Okay, let's get a little bit more black happening. So one leaf kind of comes like that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of black more on the right side here. Everything's still very wet. So it blends very quickly and easily. And kind of just disappears into it. Just try to make my brush strokes like very soft, so it's almost like you can't really see the brush strokes fully. Again, it's up to you how you want to do it. You can make it very painterly, so you can really see the brush strokes. It's really up to you what vibe you prefer. You know what's funny is that I don't have, my window is behind the tablet. And so I'm not exactly sure what's creating that glare. I don't know, let me see. Is it that? No. I don't know what's creating it. Oh, you know what? I think I figured it out. My window that's behind is reflecting on my closet door, believe it or not, which is not a mirror. Let me see if I can close these, if that helps. Did that help it? Yes, it did. Perfect. There we go. Okay, so I think the glare has now been fixed. The sound is the other issue. I noticed someone else just mentioned sound. So I'm speaking. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay, good. Okay, but please explain to me how a glare can bounce off like solid doors. How weird is that? So weird. Okay, great. So you're not getting any sound, Erin? That really sucks. I know, again, it's on my list. I think I need to get like a headset or something so that I can pick up my voice as that's closer. I feel like my computer is being pretty freaking annoying. Okay, sorry. I'm adding a little bit of the black to the edge here of this one. Just to start, because I stopped for a moment, and again, acrylic paint can dry. It always dries faster when you don't want to dry faster, and then it takes forever to dry when you're waiting for it to dry. So in that moment of closing those curtains, that part kind of went quick. So I'm just gonna try to start blending it a bit just so I don't have to. Okay, and then I want to put a little bit of lightness. I don't know if that's gonna show up. Down the middle of here. And again, we're just going to soften it slightly. A little bit of light. Okay. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad you're liking the blending. Fantastic. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to switch from my big old brush for now, because I'm probably going to dip back in when we place that leaf. But for now's the first time I'm actually going to stick it in the water. And I'm just going to try to really like vigorously just shake it so then and push it down just so I can get most of the paint off of it. I don't want any of the paint to dry on there. Okay, now let's get my medium-sized brush, and now I'm gonna go and just like basically tidy up the line a little bit and just add a little bit more because I still want it to be a little bit lighter. I'm not so sure about that yet. Yeah, so we'll do that. Okay, so let's get some more green on my medium brush. That's my number 2 brush. And then let's start playing in here. Okay, I'm going to have to make it a little bit darker. It looks like my thin brush is going to have to be the one I use because this brush is a little hard to control the line on. That's okay. Okay, we'll just get this a little thicker. I'm going to get a bit more black and add it here slightly. I'll get some more green and blend it in a little bit. Okay, and then I want to put that light back in here. I just use yellow to try to make it a little lighter, and then I'm going to just go in and get some white. Okay, now there's too much paint on my brush, so I'm just going to clean it off and then try to soften this a bit. Get some more green and just try to soften the edges a bit. Okay, I think it's not too bad. And then I still need to touch up the actual like border, and I'll use a more thinner brush with that. Okay, let's get my thinner brush so I can just clean up, because right now like this leaf is looking hairy and kind of weird. I definitely need to touch that up too and put white. Let's correct that error right now if we can. I'm just using white to cover up that mistake there. Okay, and now let's get some green. I think I need to have a little bit of black in there too. So I'm going to get a little bit of black in my green, get a really dark green happening. Almost black realistically, that's okay. And I'm just going to outline just to try to make it more precise. Okay, so I'm just going to bring that line, the one that's going to the leaf should kind of blend like seamlessly into the leaf. It shouldn't just be like an outline, like a perfect outline there. It should just, it should give like a nice clean barrier from here to here. I mean, there's still a little bit of a blur, so we can still keep that. I think I'm gonna keep it more clean cut. I think I kind of like that. So oh, thank you, Mary. And the voice is fine, your end. Okay, great. Okay, good. I'm just checking on the comments for a moment since to make sure everyone's good. Oh, thanks for the suggestion, Debbie. Hopefully that helped. And thank you, Doreen. Yeah, the mini easel is very cute. I got them on Amazon, I think it was. Was a box of 12 because I was doing some in-person paint parties. But I also felt so strange because I was like, oh man, I don't want them to get any paint on them. Isn't that so funny? I'm like, I don't want, it's so pretty. It's like my OCD is like, oh no. Okay. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna add any more to this. I might just keep it in that finish for now. And yeah, we'll go from there. Oh, I'm really like upset that I didn't think about getting like a headset or something prior to today's party, because I remember I had this that in on my mind last time. So, darn it. Okay, that's what happens. I'm such a creature of habit. So it's not in my routine for the parties, and after like 100 of these, like I get into like a same type of groove. Anyways, okay, so right now, do we want to put in, okay, I think we're going to put in this leaf. However, the butterfly is technically behind it. So I'm going to put in like the dark green of the leaf and leave the highlight until after we do the butterfly. Does that make sense? So we're going to get that part done. Then we're going to jump to the butterfly. And then we're going to come back and stick that like bright light highlight on the leaf to like keep the separation from that and the front. I think that will work best. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to go back to my big brush just so I can get nice big coverage. And the first step of this process is I'm going to just get one of the greens that I like. And I want it to be similar to this dark green. So I can just have a nice base of that. So that dark green, I played with my blue and I played with my yellow. So I'm just going to remix it a bit. Not remix it, mix more of it. Silly. And I'm going to get some black in there. Get it dark. Okay. Okay. So this is going to live, no, it's going to be higher. Higher. Here, about here. So this is halfway, which is about here. Yeah, it's about just less or more than a quarter of the way down. And then I'm going to bring the curve okay. Sure. Okay, now we're going to cover this in that green color. Definitely did not make enough of the green color. I'll have to go back and do more. Okay. Just keep popping in this green. I need to get some more black on here. Okay, how is everyone doing? Hopefully you're all doing okay. Everyone who's painting along with me. I will have like a headset or something next week. That's my plan. I'm trying to think if I have one that's easy to grab. That would work. I'm not sure where it is. Okay, so like I really want to fix that problem. Okay, should let it go for now though, shouldn't I? Okay, let's continue to get the green here. Okay, so it's still quite wet. I have like a nice base happening. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I want to start by getting what I can see here. So there's a nice highlight. I'm going to do that later. I'm not doing that right now. I want to start, I need to go back and put in some more of the green in the way it exists. So let's see. So this line here, I'm just going to put it in for guidance. So I want it to kind of live like, is that too low? I think I think not. Okay, we'll go like that. So that's where that line's gonna live. And then there's a vein that comes that way, and a vein that comes like that. And I'm putting this in for my eye, but then I'm going to be redoing that. This is just to give me an idea, because I need to start separating out different sections of here. So I want to get, again, green, a lighter green. And I just want to start painting this area here and start getting the strokes kind of in the same direction as the leaf is living, if that makes sense. Okay, and it's definitely darker down here. I'm going to get some darkness going. A little darker in here. So I'm just kind of looking at our reference image and just starting to make my strokes, because the first step was just to like get the paint on the canvas, and now I just want the paint or the paintbrush strokes to feel like the direction that this plant kind of like grew in, because if it's going in a different way, it's not going to make sense visually. So I'm just going to put in sections or paint them in the direction of like each section kind of coming outwards or up. Almost like I'm coloring those little gaps. Okay. Okay. Looks a little bit weird right now, so it'll work. I think I'm gonna move to my medium brush now, just so I have a bit more precision. And I need more of what? I need more yellow, because my yellow's almost out. Oh, thank you. Oh, hi, Marianne. Glad to see your name. Thanks, Mari. I'm really excited about it too. I think it's gonna. I was a little scared about this one, as you'll see with many of my a lot of the ones that we've done in the past. I definitely love to do like skies and water and landscapes and like silhouettes. I like that. That's like my safe space, I guess. So do like this kind of blurry close-up with like a butterfly is not usually my jam, so it's fun to try it. Okay, I'm going to get it a little darker, and I want to, so here's what we're going to do. What are we going to do actually? We are going to get a little bit darker on some of these, because there's a bit of a darkness, and then the highlight kind of follows that darkness. I'm just going to put a bit of this in, and then this kind of comes like this. Oh, I need it a little darker. Give me a little bit more black. Okay. Nope, more black. I feel like, how did yellow take such a role? Okay, there we go. There's like a yellow that keeps like kind of popping out in my color scheme. I know I used some of the yellow to make the green, but I don't know why it's being so like intense when I work here. Okay, it's a little darker in this area too, like around this edge. Okay. All right, and then it has a little bit of dark, a little bit coming this way, like that, and then along the line, and then along this line. It kind of has like a, almost like, you know, when snow lands on like a pane of a window. That's what that reminds me of right there. But the snow is a black shadow. Okay. Okay. I need a little bit more. Where are you? Do, 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 do. Okay. Okay, and then in here, it's also a little bit darker right near that line. I'm just going to put that in too. Okay, so we have a little bit of shadows happening. And I'm just gonna see, I want to make it a little bit lighter green, I think, in some spots, because I think I went a little too black in some areas. So let's see, let's add a little bit lighter, like maybe here. And a little bit like here. There seems to be a little highlight, or a little bit lighter here. And we have some more like in this spot. A little more there. And maybe a little bit here, but not too much. Not too much in there. I'm just making it a little darker because I think I want a little light in that spot. Okay. And then we're going to have to go over that and make it nice. Okay. All right. I like it. Hopefully it's looking all right. Oh, sorry, I'm missing a few comments. Let me just go scroll a little bit. So Debbie says, you could also put a flower on this, if not a butterfly. 100%. You can totally change it up however you so desire. Linda's saying that, oh, it's your first time watching. Hello. Welcome, Linda. Moved to Florida from Texas. Amazing. I'm so glad you found me. That's fantastic. And Dolores asking, can I show the brushes that use as you go for those that are joining late? For sure. So Dolores, I primarily just use 3 brushes when I paint. So I've been using this really big one for a lot of area. It's a set number 10 brush. And I've been using this brush and number 2 for like my medium, just to get this area in here. And I'm not using it specifically because I love it. It's just the right size for this particular one. In my spiel at the beginning, I kind of went through like kind of my process and how I go about doing things, and it's kind of haphazardly. And then my thin brush is a number 4, but it gives me a nice fine point. It has like a rounded kind of tip to it. I'm also noticing too that perhaps some of this green should have come down a bit more. I don't know if my butterfly is going to cover it enough. I think I'm going to have to bring this down more a little bit to give me a bit more coverage there, because I don't want to start painting my butterfly and then it to have some gaps in the color. So I'm just going to do something that I don't normally like to do, which is try to paint some background after painting something that goes in the foreground. But I'm just going to make this a little background, make a little bit more green before we start playing with that. I think it's okay. I think we can get away with it at this point still. So I feel like that I don't want to go super black though. Okay. I think that's a little better because then the butterfly will be more on top of there. Okay, great. And like I said before, I'm not going to put this highlight line until after we put the butterfly, because that will give us a little bit of forgiveness in case some of our lines go a little bit down or it looks a little messy. That will allow us to clean it up and make it look really good. Cool? So, however, I think I am going to put in some of the light kind of ribbing on the leaf right now. Like what's actually on the main part, not the edge. So I'm going to use my fine brush, which like I said is a number 4. That gives me a very fine point. And I like the number 4 because it's like there's more bristles, so it holds more paint in it, but it still gives me a fine point to it. So this light line is like a very, it's a very like light green. It's almost like a yellowy green. I'm a little worried about the color, but let's go with like a yellowy green. Let's put some yellow into here, into the green, and then use it and then see how it works. And maybe we like it, maybe we don't. And if we don't, we fix it. It's all good. Everything can be fixed, no problem. Okay. Okay, so I don't know how thin this is gonna be. We're gonna try and see. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting this line like that. And then we have another one that lives like here. It kind of curves a bit. Oh, thin lines. It's so tricky. So, and here. Maybe I should just forget about going super thin. It's so tricky to do sometimes. Okay. And then there's another one. Is it there? And then we have another one that's like here. Okay. Now, they all connect to this middle one, so this is going to be interesting. It's not going to go exactly. We'll have to reconnect them after. It kind of works because it kind of like disappears. So maybe my disappearing line there actually worked to my benefit. Okay. And it's like a little bit almost brighter, like where it connects, and it's a little thicker, kind of where it like joins. Ooh. Just going to make it a little bit more there, like that. It's a smidgen brighter. Where was that? Yeah, my finger's an eraser apparently. Whatever works. Just try to clean up that line a little bit. Okay. I think that's okay. Trying to see some like little spidering of this line. Kind of coming like that. Okay, not going to stress out too much. Should be all right. I think we'll leave it as such, and then we can always touch it up if we decide we want to make it a little bit different. Okay, so now it is time to place our butterfly and to decide how we want it to be. So again, same concept as when we started deciding, or where we started on with our painting, is we're going to start with whatever is furthest in the background. So basically the beautiful black decoration and design that you see, that's going to be done at the end. We're not going to do that right now because that's going to be on top. So right now, when I put the shape of these beautiful wings, I think I'm going to use a really pale yellow is my plan, just so I can place it. And then I'm going to play a little bit with like the gradation of like it being a little bit brighter yellow in certain spots, going into a bit of white, and playing a little bit with that first. And then once we have the coloring that we want in that general shape, then we'll end up going in with the black lines and giving all that ornate detail at that point, okay? So without further ado, let's get my medium number 2 brush again back up and running. So I'm just like, I just took it out of the water. I like squish it down on my water a lot because it's quite dirty, obviously, and I'm just going back and forth on my paper. And as you can see, there's still a lot of residue from the green. So I'm just trying to get most of it out. It's okay if I don't get all of it out, but I want it to be fairly clean in this process. I'm going to do this. So I do need more white on my palette because I am almost out of the white. White was my best friend right here. Okay. And so I'm going to mix some of my yellow and my white together just to give me my base that I'm going to use to outline where my butterfly is going to be. So this butterfly, so when we do this, I'm not going to go start right at as far as I want the outline of the butterfly to be. I'm going to go a little bit inwards just because, just how we did even like this one here and how we had to clean up the line. My lines are never perfect right off the hop, so I want to give myself a little bit of leeway in that. Now, this wing is almost like straight. It's kind of funny because when I think of it, I think it's going to be curved, but it's not. It kind of lives, it ends about here, and it goes like in a curve, and it starts around here, but it's not really a curve. It's pretty straight. So I'm going to start just placing a yellow line. Like that. And we can decide, I think I like it, so I'm good with that. And then I'm going to bring it, just following the shape of it. So it kind of comes down, and then it starts to come in, and then starts to come down, like that. And then it again goes down again. Okay, yes. And now I'm going to just fill in my shape with this very pale yellow. That's my base of my butterfly. I am talking really quietly. I'm sorry. My back is there. Why did you start with the yellow? So I start with the yellow because the yellow, so whatever's in the background first. So the black, that is going to go on top of everything, and it's going to be like the outline. If we did the black first, we would have to be so careful to paint everything in the inside so perfectly. So I like to get the shape first, and then do my shadow and like my blending, and then add the outlines at that point. That's how I prefer to do it. Doesn't mean it's the right way. If you prefer to do it a different way, you can absolutely do it that way. This is how I prefer. And I find it easier personally this way. Okay, so, and see, this is annoying anyways, because this leaf is in front of the butterfly, like I said before, and it's already driving me crazy that I have to be so, like, precise around it, because I don't want the yellow to, like, land too far in there. Okay, let me just see. Yeah, so it's very light, and that's what I want. I don't want it to be very noticeable yet because we're going to play with the colors, and that's not the showcase of it. It's really just for us to have a nice guide. Okay, so now that we have this nice base, now we can start playing with it. Now this is how I would do it. So I'm just going to take the rest of this yellow off my brush with the paper towel, not with the water. And then I want to start putting in some white back in at this point. It's going to be a little tricky because everything's very wet. Maybe I have to wait. Maybe I got to be more patient. I'm not patient though, that's the problem. Okay, so I'm just going to start this process and see how it happens. So I'm just going to start popping in some white, sorry. In some areas to start lightening it up. And as I'm doing it, I'm kind of constantly using my paper towel because every time I put my paintbrush on here, I get like more yellow on the brush, which makes sense because we started and we poured a bunch of yellow on there. But I want to start lightening it, and so I'm just removing it as I go. Okay, can you see the color change? I don't know if it even shows up. It's very subtle. Okay, so I'm just adding white to like anywhere I see that it's lighter. When I add more of a powerful yellow, it will come out a bit better, or a bit more noticeable, I should say. Okay. Okay, so I want to go in and make it brighter with my yellow. Just get a little bit more yellow. And now I'm going to use more of a pure yellow in some spots to make it a little bit brighter and more impactful. So like there's a bit of a brighter yellow up here. Now when we do all the black outline, I'm going to be using my paintbrush predominantly. However, if you prefer, you can always use like a Sharpie. You can always use a paint marker. So if there's an easier way that you feel more comfortable to get those precise lines, you may want to think about that and use those options, because sometimes they can be really annoying to do with a paintbrush. Just wanted to give that as an option you can think about before we get to that point. So if you have any of those and you want to use them, you can kind of think about where they are and if you need to locate them before we get there. Okay, so I'm just adding like a little bit of the brighter yellow kind of streaks, similar to what I'm seeing in the inspiration image. So you can see it slightly, ever so slightly. Oh, thank you, Dolores. Thank you for letting me know that I sound fine. That's great. Because my back is to like, my setup is interesting. Okay, so I'm also noticing that there's a little bit like, it's kind of like grayish in some spots. And I do want to capture that a little bit. I'm just concerned because I don't want it to darken things up too much. So I'm going to try to get a really light gray happening. And then I want to just play with where the placement is of this kind of gray. That again, I'm just looking at the inspiration image and then I'm just popping in that value, a very, very, very light gray. I just needed to make a little bit more of it, which is why I stopped for a moment there. And then just start putting in a little bit. Okay, so I just need to, I want to just soften it a bit because it's a little too dark in some spots. So I'm just going to go over with the white, similar to how I did the background over there, just to soften some of the lines on it. And again, I know that we'll be using black anyway, so it won't be fully necessary. It'll all come together nicely after, but I can't help trying to make it look nice and blended before we get to that part. Okay. All right. So I feel pretty good with the base of this. I may want it to be a little bit brighter white in some spots. We can go back and add a little bit of highlight, even at that point, like even once we do the black. It's not my preferred, but we could do it at that point. Like once things are more dry, we can decide if we need it and add it in if we need to. Okay. I'm still touching it up with the white because even though I said I was done, again, I can't help it. Okay. All right, for real this time. All right, I'm noticing that there's a little bit, it's a little lighter up here too. So I'm just gonna, it's like almost grayish. So I'm just gonna do that because that will also help me with the green in the background that I don't really want to come through there. It'll look more continuous. All right, very, very, very pretty, pretty. Oh, thank you. WW saying she did a painting with a butterfly and it was hard to fill it all in. Yeah. I'm glad that you like this process. Yeah, because I feel like that would drive me insane. Like I do not have the patience to try to be, again, like I'm not a precise painter. I like blending and color and like the vibe. Like that's my groove of painting. I'm not someone who enjoys painting things with straight lines. I do not like buildings. I don't like structures. That all makes me like really annoyed. I don't want to have to deal with them. So you won't see that too much with the paint parties I do. A lot of it is a lot more like nature and like forgiving of lines. That's my vibe. I don't know if I'll get into another groove. I think it's going to stick that way. Okay. I think I'm going to move into using my thin brush now. So it's a number 4 again. But again, it's whatever brush you use that gives you a nice fine point you have control over. I'm not going to start yet with the black. I'm not going to do that yet. I want to start playing with like this crazy bug face. That's what we're going to play with. So I think, are we just going to go with black? I don't know. I kind of want to start, yeah, I guess, sorry, I'm just thinking about what color I would want to use first. Because it doesn't really matter too much. I kind of want to use like a white or a gray though. Yeah, I'm going to use like a gray. That's what I'm going to use. Kind of a gray color, like a lightish gray color to decide where I want the head to go, and then I'm going to use a black afterwards to accent it. Because I'm noticing like a little bit of, I don't know, like fuzz, and I feel like if I go black right away, it's going to blend too much with the background, and I'm not going to get the contrast that I want. So with this little bug head, it kind of, the way I look at it, I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see it okay. I'm just going to go and put a line like this to start. And then I'm going to bring this line kind of straight down. I don't think I've ever painted a butterfly before, so bear with me. And then I'm just going to go down like that, because that's what I can see. And then, let's see, there's like this lighter color, kind of almost goes like, it kind of streaks a little bit. So what we're going to do is, I'm just going to kind of paint it a bit, like fill it in with this color, just so we don't see the green. And then I'm going to go back over with black and put some of the details on after. So for now, I'm just going to stick with this weird gray color. I think to start. Maybe I want it a little bit lighter. Yeah. I just made it a little lighter. Okay. Okay, so what I can see is, what can I see? I can see that it is black in this area here. So I'm going to look at my photo and try to mimic what I can see. So I see black like that. Like there's like a line. And then it kind of goes like that. And it's pretty dark in this little triangle here. So I'm just going to fill it in with black, like that, to start. And then I'm going to go back to black. And now this curve kind of continues down like that. So I want that curve to remain. Okay. And there seems to also be another kind of like black line-ish kind of there. And then, there's so much stuff. I'm going to bring this up a little bit more like that. And then there seems to have like little like lines. Oh, it just became black. It's okay. That's fine. Okay, and then there's like a black, I don't know if that's the eye. I don't know what it is. There's like a black thing here. So I'm going to put a black dot thing there. I'm going to put a black dot thing there. So I'm basically looking at the photo. I'm not thinking about what these things are supposed to be. I am literally just trying to mimic what the photo is showing me. There's like little bits of black. Kind of cuts this way a bit. Kind of like that. Very weird. This needs to be a bit more black. So as it was mixing with the gray, it kind of lost a little bit of the black. That looks weird, but that's okay. We'll go with it. And then we have this antenna that's coming out kind of up here, and it's going to touch the top part there. So I just need to get more black. Okay. And then we have, I guess I don't even know what they're called, but there is a I was gonna say tentacle, and it's not a tentacle. their hands. It's not their hands either. But we have like that, and I have another one like that. And then there's also a highlight on them that I can see too, and we'll put that in after. Okay, so that is what I got so far. Oh. Yeah, this is a paintbrush, and it's a number 4 paintbrush. You're right. Thank you for responding. I appreciate it. Yeah, a feeler. Thank you, Doreen. That's perfect. Yeah, if you need like correct terminology of items in the world, I'm not the person for that. I call them thingies. I'll call them completely incorrect names. So thank you. I appreciate that. Anyways, okay. Yeah, this one's pretty decent in terms of like the control. It still drives me crazy sometimes, and I still prefer to use like a paint marker or a marker sometimes, but I'm gonna try to do this in a paintbrush. We'll see. I'm gonna get annoyed though when the line doesn't turn out the way I want it, but that's okay. We can all get annoyed together if we need to. All right, let's start. I'm gonna start by outlining the, oh my god, the wing. It's so scary to start. Okay, I'm gonna go like this way because I think my hand's a bit more comfortable going from left to right. So I know it's annoying because you can't see it exactly when I'm doing it, but it is more comfortable for me to do it that way. Okay, so that's this part. When we start putting in the black, I mean, when it gets messy and stuff, then it can look really bad. But if we can get nice fine lines that are consistent, this is when everything pops. And I love this part so much, but I also get really frustrated on it. I'm going to continue this black line kind of around. Do I want it around the butterfly? I definitely want it around this part. Yeah, let's do it around this part here. Maybe like that. I don't know if I want to continue all the way around. I don't think so. Because you'll see there's some spots that doesn't have black. So I kind of want to be true to this. Oh, it's going to be scary. Okay, where are we going to next? Let's see. I would say there is this line here that goes around is a continuous line. So I'm going to do that one next before I start to branch out into other zones. So it almost looks like it attaches to here. So I think I'm going to go one more the opposite way. Oh no. Yeah, see, it's like that way doesn't, I can't get like the same line going when I go that way. Okay, and that ends like down here. So like here. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's not gonna work. Ah, I'm scared. Okay, it's okay. We'll do it. Do it in parts, right? Whew. Can't breathe when I'm doing it. Okay, and then, oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. All right. That's okay. It's a little, it's fine. I'm not gonna stress about it. It turned out better than it could have turned out really bad. So I'm okay with it. Okay. What is the next one I want to do? I'm trying to do the ones that are most continuous so that I can build off of them. And so everything kind of looks like it makes sense, like it all connects properly. Is everyone okay? Let me just make sure. Thanks for the encouragement. Doohickey. Yep, that's what I say. Yes, this is the hard part. It's a very satisfying part, but it's the hard part. And like I said, don't feel weird about moving to using like a marker or something that you have more control over. That's totally fine. Like, go for whatever makes the most sense. Okay, so I'm looking here and there's kind of like a loopy, but the loopy's like not a full loopy. Like it kind of, oh, butterflies are weird, eh? Okay, so let's go piece by piece. So this one's gonna come out from here. And it kind of comes out like that, I guess, like straight. And then it kind of like goes slightly down. And then it does that again. And then it kind of makes like a house, an arrow shape. And then it's like another kind of straight line. And it's gonna all connect back to that point-ish. So I'll start there and then connect it back like that. It's almost like a diamond weird kind of shape, I guess. That's fine. Okay. It's like every like point has another line that comes out. So I can see from like this point, it comes down. I'm going to, I think, connect it to that line that I made. That one's going to come like this. Okie dokie. And then this one's going to come like over here. Oh, and of course my paint wants to run out on me. Okay, there we go. Okay. I am using a little bit of water in my black paint to make it a little smoother. But also my black paint has been sitting there a little bit, so it's kind of drying out a bit. I just want to make this connection a little thicker because I feel like the connections become a little thicker. Okay, and then this one here and this tip also comes to connect that line. Okay, and then this tip here comes out to connect to the line too, like that. All right, any more? Yes. Did I miss a tip? No, okay, that one's that one. And then this one, is that the right one? I feel like I missed one. Well, okay, I'm gonna make another one here then, because I feel like this one needs to come down like that. Oh, okay. And then I think I'm gonna do another one like here. Yeah, I'll probably just do it right there. And that's gonna come down like that. Cool. So far, so good. Kind of weird, but good. Okay. And then I'm seeing that there is like some lines in between here. So let's pop that in. And they look like kind of very like thin and like faded close, and then they get a little bit more prominent as it comes out. And again, they're kind of like, it doesn't just connect, it kind of like, almost like a spider web, like it, again, that whole like frost in a window, like it kind of curves. So the ends don't just like connect straight. They have like a little, almost like a webbing. I don't know if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna try to be ridiculously specific and put in like a little, slight little curve that connects them like that, because I feel like that makes it look a little bit nicer. Okay. Whew. What else? Where else are we going here? So we have this line here. We have another line. Okay. That's kind of like here. And it comes to meet there-ish. And then there's another one that starts here and gets a little thicker. Ooh, that one was a little scary. I feel like my hand wobbled way too much on that one. That's okay. We'll make it work. That one's very thick in comparison to my other ones, but that's okay. Okay, let's see where else we need to go. Okay. And then there's like a little dotty splotchy right here. There we go. Okay. There's another dotty splotchy right here. Okay. Now, okay, what else? Let's see. Okay, so this area, it's like a pretty big dotty splotchy here. I think I'm going to put that in right now. Sure, let's do that. Okay. So I have that line, and then there's another line that, where does that line go? It comes this way, and then it veers off there. So let's see how I'm going to do this without, I'm going to have to maneuver my canvas around a little bit. I think. Or maybe this way. Yeah, maybe that way's better actually. Okay, so I want this line to go and come out. So it's going to end, this one kind of goes like this. And then it connects to like that. Yes. Okay. Oh man. And then there, it does connect here too. And again, I'm just gonna curve it out a little bit. Ooh, that went a little bit weird. Okay, good. Whew, okay, and then we have lovely black zigzaggy in here. So let's kind of put in a little bit of where it's going to be. So we have, it kind of comes out and then it kind of goes in curves, I guess. So I'm just gonna put that in. This ridge of black, and then we can, I'm just gonna do it as like a curve for now, and then we can add more to it because I'm seeing that it extends downwards, but I think I want to connect some of these before I go there. So like this one here, for example, will connect to here, and it almost like comes from the same spot. This one? No, this one. Connect to here. Okay, and then this one that's going to come from like here. And it looks like we have another curve that's living here. So what I'm doing is I'm essentially looking at the photo and just trying to copy the patterns as best as I can. There's no other tip or trick with it. You can really do it as best as you can. If it doesn't work out the way you want to, you can go rogue and then just have fun and bring out your inner artist and change it up entirely if you want. It doesn't have to be, just because this is what we see here, it doesn't have to be this way. We can always change anything we want. So there's a bit of a curve here, and then here. And these curves are a little thicker. Okay. And then there's like a curve like this here. And then we have another curve that comes a bit higher. There we go. Okay. And then this one's also a little lower. Still pretty thick though. And then this one is like that. Okay. And then breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Sometimes I forget to breathe. And then let's see. Another one. Okay, and then there's like a curve. Okay, so I'm just going to continue looking at the inspiration image, and then, oh, actually we can look at it the whole time. So these curves are a little thicker, and then it kind of comes out a bit. And this one here. Okay, and then this one doesn't really have a line underneath it. That's cool. Okay. Whew. Okay. And then some of these, I need to make them a little curvier. It's too straight, so I'm just going to go back and then just make some of the lines stick out a little bit more. Okay. And then we have some dotty splotches in here. That one looks kind of like a heart, kind of pretty. You can hide little messages in your painting if you so desire. You can make each dotty splotchy like a letter or something, or they could all be hearts. There we go. I did two little hearts. That's cute. Okay, and then we have some other little elements in the line. So they kind of go out like that a little bit. Sometimes it's a little bit more like here. kind of like that it's a little random. And then this is a little thicker. Yeah, cool, cool, cool. And then we have another line that comes up here like that. And then it's a bit dark here. Okay. I need more black paint. Okay, and then it's a little dark. I feel like this is a lot further away than our inspiration image. Seems like right here is a lot closer. That's okay. We'll improvise, have some fun. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit more like here, I think too. It's a new dotty splotchy right there. Okay. Where else are we gonna go from here? We have to still do the bottom here. And what is happening at the bottom here? Let's see. Okay. So this is kind of like also a black area there. I don't know where the lines are going. Let me see if I can make sense of them to make them make sense, make them look nice. Okay, so we have like a bit of a circle kind of here. Another one like there. All right, and then so that line's there. We have another line that's like here. And that comes to another kind of circle-y pattern thing, like that. And it's pretty thick and black where it connects. And then it kind of like curves out a little bit, almost like it's gonna close, but then it should just kind of close, but it's very like, it's not like a very thick black line, it's very thin. So I'm gonna put in a little bit of a line, but it's gonna be very thin to close it off. Yeah, that's fine. I think I do still like it with a line there more. Okay, cool. Changed my mind on that one. Initially I thought I was gonna keep it empty, but alas, no. Okay, and then there's like a bit of a black splotch here. Like almost touches that other guy, but does not. And then it connects to this line here. And then we have this and it kind of comes down into a bit of a point. And it comes up and it becomes flat. Okay, I need more black. I need to stop pretending I can keep going with the remnants that I have on my palette. Okay. All right. Okay, so we have that. And then I see that there is a line, but then there's more coming. I'm scared. I don't want to do those lines yet. Okay, so we won't do them yet. We're going to just continue putting in some of these like points. That. And then there's one there. And then it's a little bit of a blur back there. All right. How's everyone doing so far? Do it. I love your encouragement. You guys are fantastic. Hi, Tom. Oh, I'm glad you're liking it. It's so precise. For all of you still watching, thank you. There's like a third of you left from the beginning. It's like a process. I totally get it. But I really appreciate everyone who is still here and still playing along, enjoying. Okay, so let's continue. We'll do like another. I'm going to try to get these ones here. Like so, I guess. So interesting. I don't think I've ever looked at a butterfly spots for this long. It's pretty fascinating. Okay, and then this line connects here. And this line's going to come down and connect like that. Because the lines kind of continue on from what I can see. The line kind of comes down that way. And then there's more lines, but I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Okay, let's just continue these kind of circles. A bit thicker on the top. Okay, so these are getting a lot more tighter here until it becomes just like a black blob, but I think I'm going to try to do one more. And then it's just black here. Okay. And this black area, come up a little bit more. And then we're going to connect it up here, but we still have to do a little bit more here, I think. So I'm just going to connect those peaks like that, and then like another one like this. It's got some little spidering lines that way. Okay. And then let's do that. Let's make it a bit connected here, like that curvy connection here. And there, I think that looks better like that. Okay. All right. I'm seeing some little spots that I want to make a little bit cleaner. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it, I think. Yes, I would say yes. Okay, let's move from that, and then I'm going to put that highlight line on the leaf, and then we can go back and play a little bit more with the butterfly if we so desire. Oh, thanks everyone. That's great. I can't wait to see all of your images. I can't wait to see it, how it turned out. I wonder if anyone went on like their own tangent and like did like their own design on the butterfly or something. That'd be so cool. So I'm using like a like a green yellow, but it definitely tends more on the yellow side. And I'm going to do the same. Trying to follow this and keep a steady hand. The color is already like fading. It's so annoying. Okay. Let's put a little bit more on. Okay. Oh my gosh. I feel like this paint is either too dry or it's just not coming out the way I want it to come out. Like it's not like thick enough. I want it to be like a nice like solid line. But it's like this weird faded. I don't like it. Okay, and it kind of curves down a little bit here. So I'm just going to make it a little bit curved slightly here. I want to use white, but we're going to use white because this is just not standing out as much as I want it to. So I'm putting a little bit of white because this part's a little bit curved down. I just think the yellow is just not standing out how I want it to stand out. So I'm just going to go over with a bit of white. I think that will make it help a bit. Yeah, I think that's all right. Here looks a little weird, but that's okay. Like touch it up a bit. I don't know what my husband's watching on TV, but I just hear like a lot of cars. Like he's not really the like too fast, too furious type of person, but that's kind of what it sounds like is on. It's very weird. Weird sounds. It's not like normal sound in my house. I just hear like revving of engines. It's very strange. I know you probably can't hear it because he's downstairs, but it's weird that I'm getting like little sounds of it every once in a while. It doesn't really go with the painting, you know? And this vibe that we're creating is very strange. Okay. Now I want to just put a little bit of a highlight on the feelers. So I'm just getting white and just like doing a little bit of the highlight there. Doing a little bit of a highlight there. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of one on the antenna. Even though there isn't one in the photo, but I think I want to put one in. And then I want to use a little bit of white to just make this little guy have like a little bit of, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the butterfly face is like, but just put a little bit of white to make things pop a little bit. Okay, I'll just do that. Little dots of white. And then I am going to go back in here a bit and just add a little bit more white because some of it you can't really notice. And this is exactly what I didn't want to do. But I think it might still look a little bit nicer if we can make it a little bit whiter in some spots. I'm not going to do the entire circle. I'm not going to try to, I don't want to touch my black lines at all. but I am going to put in a little bit of white in some of these. Spots. Just to lighten some of them up. Just a smidgen. And that's just because I feel like there's not much enough different, like it's not like showing up differently from like the yellow to the white. So I just want to add a little bit more white so that the yellow kind of pops a bit more. So I might just add a few little streaks of white in here. And do my very best not to touch my black lines. That I'm playing with fire here. Oh, I'm going to be so annoyed if I touch the black lines. Ah! Okay, and I think we'll put a little bit in here. And I want to do a little line kind of in some of these spots. It doesn't have to be the whole thing, just like a bit. Yeah. And maybe this one. And maybe this one. Maybe a little here. And this just oh, it's not the same spot, but just I want to touch it in that moment. And then, you know what? I want to give a little bit of that gray, and hopefully this is going to work out okay and not mess it up. But I do want to touch a little bit of gray in here. And a little bit of gray in here. And a little bit of gray in there. I definitely touched the black just now. Ah! Okay. Just softening it a little bit with water. Because the lines of the gray are very harsh. Because everything's dry now, so I don't want it to just be like a harsh gray line there. Okay, I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to add a bit more white back in here. I feel like I went a little bit too gray. Okay. Yellow. Okay, I'm just putting a little bit more yellow in some spots, and then I think I'm going to call this done. I think if I keep touching these spots, I'm going to be upset soon. I'm going to just mess up my line, and that would not be a good thing. I need to call it done. Okay. Let me just look at it for a second. Yeah. Okay, cool. Sometimes it's hard to see it when I'm painting for on an angle for you guys to see it best. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna add a little bit more yellow in some spots. Bring it back slightly. I think I'm feeling like it's done. All right. Yes, we are good. All right. Let me see how everyone is doing. Okay, awesome. So a lot of you are enjoying it so far, which is great. Donna, you work till 7. No problem. Yeah, definitely paint whenever it's convenient for you. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, it is, right? I feel like the white just really makes it pop. It's really scary to do, though, I have to say, because like I said, I really didn't want to touch those black lines, and it worked out all right, but it's scary. Oh, Tessa. Oh, no. Yeah, Tessa says that hers is horrific, and it's going in the garbage. Oh, no. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, thin straight lines are so difficult. Like I said, don't shy away from using. There's great acrylic or paint markers that you can use, so jump into that. And you like to paint fast. Yeah, I'm definitely in your camp. I much prefer to paint fast and to do like landscapes, and I love that too. I'm with you. And that's really sweet of you, Heather. I like that. If it looks good, it's true. Sometimes we're our worst critics, aren't we? Perfect. Okay, great. So let me just move. Oh, it does look really. You know what's funny is that when I see it from your guys' perspective, like when I look at the screen, I'm like, whoa, I did really good. But in person, I'm like, I don't know. So just keep that in mind. It's very true. Like when you take a picture of your completed painting and share it with the group, I don't know if it is like we get to look at it from a different perspective and we're not as judgmental of it, I think. When you look at something for a long time, you get really into like even honestly, like when I'm looking at mine close up, I'm like, ooh, like, oh yeah, there's some weirdness going on. Like I'm really not happy with some spots. But like I said, when I see it from the screen, it looks like really good. So just so you know, there's still some odd things that I am kind of weirded out about. So some of the lines, like and some of the coloring, it's not super ideal, but overall, I'm very happy with it because this is also something that's out of my comfort zone. I do also prefer to paint landscapes and blending and colors and all of that. So I'm with all of you who are in that boat. But I'm happy that we did this and happy we tried this out. I hope you all enjoyed it. Everyone who painted along, if you're comfortable, please take a picture and share. I'm going to take a picture of this and share it in another post just after I get off the live, basically. I'm also going to take this video and also cross-post it to YouTube. So again, all of my videos are on YouTube or Facebook. So if you enjoy this and you want to check out some other ones that you have some time to paint, there's over 100 now, so you can take a look and see, and they're all there. The whole full video, it's free, it's ready to go for you. And I think that's about it. So I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you. So on Saturday, we'll have the next one. I'll have the image for next week. It will be a post, and then I'll see you again next week to paint. Again, if you haven't already, you can enter into the giveaway for a free personal virtual paint party for you and 10 friends. And that contest is ending on Friday. So just take a look at the pinned post on my Facebook page and has the details there. And I think that's about it for now. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye, everyone.